Greetings, gamers! I'm Shoot Kapow. Pokemon Platinum with only one unknown was a brutal challenge, but I wanted to try another run I'm expecting to be pretty hard. Can I beat Pokemon LeafGreen with a team of only one Gastly? Right off the bat, its base stats are interesting, to say the least. It has a decent speed stat of 80, and its special attack is at least higher than Unknown's at 100. Its other stats are abysmal, though. It's super frail, much more than it would be in Gen 1, because then special attack and special defense were calculated together as one stat, so it could at least take some special hits. Not in Gen 3, though. Its attack is also really low, and since ghost moves are all physical in this game, we're probably not going to be using those a whole lot. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to my Drybread for doing this run in red. I know I talked about him a bunch in the Unknown run, and I'll probably stop bringing him up so much in future challenge runs, since I want to start doing these regularly. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But he mentioned how this run might be tougher in Gen 3 due to Special being two separate stats this time around. That was also a really old challenge, but make sure to go check it out along with the rest of his stuff. Alright, plug over. Just like in all my challenge runs, I'm writing the script as I go through the challenge. So what you're hearing and reading is all being written before I've started. Make sure to comment down below guessing whether or not you think I can win. I think it's definitely possible, but trainers like Sabrina and Agatha could be a real problem. Let's give a quick rundown of the rules. In combat, I'm only allowed to use Gastly. I'm allowed to catch other Pokemon to use HMs and get Pokedex locked items, but none of them can be used in battle. Just like last time, I'm going to do my best not to use items in battle, which should be a lot more possible since you can strategize a lot more with a Gastly than an Unknown. Only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. With all that out of the way, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's get right into the run. Right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Squirtle with Gastly so we can do the whole run with it. I choose to replace Squirtle not necessarily because Venusaur would be the toughest for us to fight, but because with Venusaur, his final team has Arcanine and Gyarados, two Pokemon with Intimidate. That'll make our Ghost-type attacks even weaker. I name it Mismagius because that's hilarious. We start with Lick and Hypnosis, and we don't get many good moves until Nightshade at level 16. We might have a bit of a grind for Brock. The early game is going to be interesting, because while we might be immune to the incredibly common normal type attacks around the first couple towns, we literally can't hit them until we get a move that isn't ghost type. This is definitely going to be one of the weirdest challenges I've ever done. But before that, there's this weird guy standing in the middle of the road, and he says that you should follow me on Twitter, where I post whenever a new video is released, as well as a bunch of unhinged Pokemon and Pikmin stuff. It's a fun time, so definitely check me out there. While we're going through Viridian Forest, though, I take on this trainer who I accidentally run out of licks on and end up having to PP stall his Pokemon and use Struggle. Since this was before it always took a fourth of your health in Recoil, I almost managed to take him out, but I'm barely one hit away from making out Cocoon. Well, I wrote making out in the script instead of taking out. Whoopsie. I'm just barely one hit away from taking out Kakuna, and we go down. Man, this early game's gonna be rough. We reach Brock at level 14, actually the level of Onix. Geodude can't hit us, so we just chip it down with Lick. Then Onix comes out, and it can hit us hard with Rock Tomb. I have an absolutely foolproof strategy. What do you mean it could fail? Don't look at Hypnosis as 60 accuracy. Despite that, we land Hypnosis, and Onix stays asleep for a while, letting us get off good damage with Curse and Lick. It wakes up one turn too early, though, and brings us to 5 HP and lowers our speed with Rock Tomb. This would have absolutely doomed us if Rock Tomb wasn't an absolutely garbage move with a 1 in 5th chance to miss, and we clutched it out and lived for another turn, letting Curse damage take out the Onix, winning us Brock on our first try. I wrote it as Bork in the script. What was I on? Well, that was super lucky, but since there are quite a few normal types on the following routes, and our rival has both a Pidgeotto and Rattata, I'm expecting it to pick up in difficulty pretty soon. I fight all the trainers I can to get levels, and I'm going to try to have an odd number of HP so that we can use 2 curses and still be alive. We might also be able to get an Oran Berry too, which can help us out a lot. I started catching Pokemon around here to boost my numbers in the Pokedex, which can actually get me useful things later like leftovers and the Amulet Coin. In Mount Moon, I actually found the Thief TM, which I always forget about. I get every item whenever I go through here, and it really came in handy here. Thanks to Thief, I finally have an attack to reliably hit normal types. On top of that, dark moves are always special in this generation, meaning we deal huge damage to whatever we can hit with it. Heck, it might even be enough for Pidgeotto. On my way through Mount Moon, I took the Helix Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone asks anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I didn't even write that in the script, I just said it off the top of my head because I remembered it from watching my Drybread so much. We get to Cerulean City, and I decide to take a shot at Misty. We do less than half of Stardew's health with Nightshade, but we can take it out in the follow-up with Thief, so it just goes for Harden. I'm not confident we can outgo Starmie with Thief, so I just soften it up with Nightshade, but it takes me to red health with 1 Water Pulse, and finish me up on the follow-up. What did I tell you about those things' defenses? I decided to try a different strategy this time around. It took a few tries, but after a while I got this attempt where I got past Stardew with full health, landed a Hypnosis after Starmie's Water Pulse, and it stayed asleep for 2 turns as I rolled high enough with both of my Thieves to take it out. That fight was pretty rough. After that, I took on our rival, which went pretty well. I put Pidgeotto to sleep and can take it out with 3 uses of Thief. It wakes up on the last turn, but it just hits a weak Gust. Then it's out to Abra, who can't do anything and gets one shot by Thief. Bulbasaur actually puts us to sleep with Sleep Powder, but can't do much with its weak Vine Whips, and we take it out easily. Rattata actually lives a Thief, but can't do anything to us as we take it out with one last Thief. I spend some time on the next route getting all the encounters I can, and I get an Abra, which we can teach Flash later to make Rock Tunnel a little more manageable. For now though, it'll be nice to have her teleport. I also replaced Confuse Ray with Dream Eater, meaning we now have a move we can use to heal. Right before reaching Vermilion City, I wiped this trainer because I get sand attacked and I'm already paralyzed, and on top of that I'm out of Thief PP. This leads to me hitting 0 moves and forcing my other Pokemon to use useless moves until they go down. Great. I get back and absolutely sweep her with Thief. This run is about to be either me being unprepared and going down to trivial things or just sweeping through everything I find. We get to the Ssan and it's rival time. Right away, we put Pidgeotto to sleep and use Dream Eater for the one-shot since it won't go down to 1 Thief. Kadabra's another Oko, and then we use Hypnosis on Ivysaur and take it out with another super effective Dream Eater. Last is Raticate, who survives a Thief, but it can't hit us, so it goes down the next turn. Man, these fights are pretty easy. After that, I catch some more Pokemon and trade a Spearow for Chidang the Farfetch'd, who we'll use for HMs. We also now have enough Pokemon registered to get the Flash HM, so we teach that to Abra finally. Now it's time to take on Lieutenant Surge. The Trash Can puzzle was surprisingly easy on the first try, which was really nice to see. Surge himself was really easy, and Miss Magius tried to run Shadow Ball in the middle of the battle. I opted against it because Nightshade is probably more worthwhile to have. When going through Rock Tunnel, there are a few mandatory hikers that would probably be really annoying if we were using a physical Pokemon or something with just normal type moves. We don't have any problems here. Now that we're in Lavender Town, I decided to take a quick shot at the rival in Pokemon Tower. Pidgeotto and Kadabra are one-shots, and Gyarados manages to hit us with a couple bites as we miss Hypnosis twice, but we take it out and heal up with Dream Eater. Growlithe doesn't do much with Embers, we take it out with 2 Nightshades, and the Ivysaur fight goes hilariously, with us both missing our sleep moves until I miss a 3rd Hypnosis and Ivysaur finally hits a Sleep Powder. We go down to pretty low health, but eventually wake up, miss another Hypnosis, and then finally hit it and take out Ivysaur in 1 hit with Dream Eater. These are usually the attempts you guys don't see because Hypnosis is just so bad. We finally reach Celadon City where our options open up a bit. We can take out the Grass Gym or the Rocket Hideout, and once we beat Erica, we can replace the pretty unreliable Dream Eater with Giga Drain, which is super effective on more Pokemon. We can also get Thunderbolt from the game corner, replacing Thief and giving us a strong option to take out Blue's Pidgeot. Let's take out Erica first and update our moveset, but first, I want to use some stones on some of the Pokemon we have in the box to bump our Pokedex up to 30 owned, letting us get the item finder. We can't use it quite yet without the Pokeflute, but once we beat the Snorlax blocking the roads to Fuchsia City, we'll have pretty easy access to leftovers. Erica goes well, with her Victory Bell missing Stun Spore on the turn we miss Hypnosis. We land it and take her out with Dream Eater, and then crit to one-shot Tangela. Vileplume's last, and a full heal can't stop me from hitting Hypnosis both times and Okoing her Vileplume, winning me a pretty easy fight. After that, we can replace Dream Eater with Giga Drain, as we won't need it anymore, and we have just enough money to convert into coins to buy the Thunderbolt TM, giving us 2 strong moves in place of what we had. Let's go ahead and take out Giovanni with our new and improved Miss Magius, Ghastly. I forgot to record the footage, but as you can expect, he can't do anything to us as we just sweep him with Giga Drain. After that, we climb Pokemon Tower, which is the footage you're seeing now. I want to reflect real quick on how the run's going. I expect the next couple gyms to be a bit rough, but overall pretty easy. This definitely feels easier than how MDB's run in Red went, mostly because of how we got Thief so early on. Nightshade could hit normal types then, and it was easier to tank special moves, but I really feel like the move variety and the addition of Levitate and Held items are helping us out a lot. After Pokemon Tower, we wake up the Snorlax blocking Cycling Road. I try to catch it, but end up landing a crit Thunderbolt taking it out. Oh well, I probably won't need it anyway. After that, we finally have access to leftovers, which means we'll need to be a bit more careful with leveling up, since we don't have the Everstone, but we'll live a lot longer in tough fights. I decide to take care of all the stuff in Saffron next, starting with getting the Psychic TM from Mr. Psychic and replacing Nightshade. It's been getting pretty outdated recently, and this lets us super effectively hit fighting and poison types. Next, I take care of the Fighting Dojo to get some XP and Hitmonlee for an extra Pokedex slot, though we probably won't need any more Pokemon now that we have leftovers. Now it's time for Silph Co, where I can get a lot of XP and a Lapras for HMs after beating my rival. We get a lot of fun items, and also wiped this guy right before reaching the healing spot, and now it's time for Rival Fivel, the 6th rival fight. Subscribe to J-Rose. It's a total sweep since we have enough move choice and special attack to beat his whole team, and Giovanni afterwards goes about the same. It might be time to start skipping some trainers. I decide to fight Sabrina, who very easily could have gone south. We Oko her Kadabra and put her Mr. Mime to sleep, who, even with Sabrina's 2 hyper potions, goes down. Alakazam comes out next and we land another Hypnosis, which she heals off, and then we just take it out with 1 crit Thunderbolt anyway. Last is Venomoth, who gets Oko'd by Psychic. That could easily have taken a few attempts. Who am I kidding? That was never gonna be tough. Koga's obviously a one-shot sweep, and now we have Toxic. Might use that, I guess. Time to fight Blaine. Growlithe goes down to 1 Psychic, but then Arcanine comes out, I miss Hypnosis, and I get Oko'd by Fire Blast. Finally, a worthy opponent. A few attempts later, Arcanine gets put to sleep and doesn't wake up immediately, so I can take it out. Ponyta gets one shot and Rapidash is out last. This could have been tough, but we hit Hypnosis, Blaine uses a full heal, and since we both outspeed and overpower him, he can't heal off our attacks well enough to avoid going down to 2 Psychics, winning us our 7th gym badge. From there, we might as well rapid fire through the next couple tough fights. Giovanni's a total pushover as per usual, and now it's time to take on the rival one last time before Victory Road. Pidgeot goes down in one Thunderbolt, but then Alakazam lives a Thunderbolt and OHKOs us with Psychic. A few attempts later, Alakazam stays asleep long enough to go down, and out comes Venusaur. It lives a Psychic surprisingly, but just goes for growth as we safely take it out. The rest of his team's a sweep, but we're definitely not prepared for the league yet. Before Victory Road, I decided to replace the leftovers with a Miracle Seed from the game corner so Giga Drain has more power, since we're probably not going to live long enough against the league with Stall or anything to take full advantage from the healing from lefties. In Victory Road, I wiped with Charizard because I misclicked and used Psychic instead of Thunderbolt. Speed up can be a bit of a double-edged sword sometimes. We reached the Pokemon League at level 69, nice, and here are our stats. Our defenses are paper thin, but our speed is pretty good and our special attack is great. Hypnosis can probably carry us through a few fights with a couple attempts, but there could definitely be a few problematic mons. Leave your final guesses on whether or not we can win in the comments below. Let's do this. Lorelai's up first, and her Dugong lifts a Thunderbolt on a Sliver and fires back with a strong Ice Beam. We take it out with 2 Giga Drains and heal up to full after she full restores though, and next is Slowbro. We land a Hypnosis and 2-shot it with Thunderbolt, and Lapras is out next. It lands a Confused Ray after we hit it with Thunderbolt, but we break through and take it out on the follow-up after a Citrus Berry proc. Cloyster's up next, and Confusion really messes us up, but we snap out of it and use Thunderbolt. Last is Jinx, who dodges a Hypnosis, hits us with Attract, and we lose the next 2 turns to Infatuation as it just Ice Punches us down. Man, we got unlucky at the end there. About a dozen attempts later, we finally get this one where we hit Hypnosis and Jinx stays asleep for enough turns we can take it out, finally letting us move on. Next up is the Fighting Trainer Bruno. We OHKO his Onix with Giga Drain, but his Hitmonchan lives a Psychic and hits us with a Rock Tomb, lowering our speed. We still outspeed it and take it out after Bruno heals it, and his second Onix goes down easily too. Machamp comes out and avoids a Hypnosis, but it just goes for Scary Face and then bulk up on the following turn as we put it to sleep. We leave it in the red with Psychic, but its Citrus Berry gets it out of healing range as we take it out on the follow-up. And last is Hitmonlee, who just uses Foresight as we take it down in one shot. Agatha is third, and she's a total one-shot sweep with Psychic, and then fourth is Lance. We one-shot Gyarados, but his Aerodactyl outspeeds us and takes out about half our health with Ancient Power. Dragonite comes out next, but it takes very little damage from Psychic, and even though it stays asleep for a while, it just wakes up before we can OHKO it, and it takes it out with Outrage. Let's try that with leftovers, but I'm not too optimistic. After many tries, I decide to just give in and grind. We can't get past Dragonite without insane luck, and his 2 Dragonite after can really mess us up. I'm gonna come back after taking out all the trainers we skipped and try again. We come back at level 80, and this time we outspeed an OHKO Aerodactyl. We missed Hypnosis against Dragonite as it just sets up Safeguard though, which means we just go down to Outrage before we can KO it, even with a special defense drop. Let's decide to get lucky next time. A couple attempts later, we just crit Dragonite to take it out, and we move on to his 2 Dragonite with full health. The first takes us to about half as we take it down with 2 Psychics, and I Hypnosis his second, but it heals it off with Shed Skin. Luckily, my next Hypnosis also hits, and it stays asleep for another turn, and then I just OHKO it with a crit Psychic on the follow-up. Finally, it's time to face off against our rival in one last confrontation. First attempt, we faint from bad sleep luck. Classic! On the first real attempt, we OHKO Pidgeot and Alakazam stays asleep long enough to go down. And Gyarados after is an OHKO. Arcanine comes out, though we miss a Hypnosis, and it leaves us on only 1 HP from Flamethrower. However, Hypnosis, being the disappointment that it is, misses again at the most crucial moment, and we go down. That was absolutely heartbreaking. Let's try again. The next try we miss again, and Arcanine leaves us on 1 HP. However, this time we land the Hypnosis, and we're able to take out Arcanine at 2 Psychics. Venusaur is out next, and if we miss this Hypnosis, we lose the fight. Luckily, it hits, and we're able to 2-shot Venusaur after the Citrus Berry. Last is Rhydon, who we're able to use 1 final Giga Drain on, winning us the run. That was a pretty crazy run. It was an absolute breeze around the mid-game, and came to a surprisingly sudden halt at the league. It was really fun though, and I loved it a lot. It was a super fun experience, and replaying my most played Pokemon game with only 1 Pokemon was pretty crazy. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe because I'd really appreciate it. Make sure to comment down below what you'd like to see me do next, but right now I'm planning something else for my next Pokemon Challenge run. I'm going to try one of the hardest challenges I've ever faced when I try to beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Emerald. I've been getting a lot better at Nuzlockes recently, but this is still going to be a huge challenge that might take a few attempts to beat. I won't be making a series out of it, like my Black 2 Nuzlocke, but rather make it one long video of the run. If you're excited for that, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss it when it comes out. With all that said though, this video was fun, but it's over now. So until next time, this is Shoot Kapow, over and out.